In this video I'm going to be running down the results of last night as I record this WWE WrestleMania 35. A couple of things before I get into the results of this. I haven't watched TakeOver yet. A lot of people are saying it was a really good show. The results of that I think went pretty much as I thought they would. Also great to see a Roddy Piper statue unveiled at Access, fully deserving of any really honour that is bestowed upon him. And the guy that attacked Bret Hart at the Hall of Fame, I can't obviously use the language I would like to on YouTube, but screw that guy. I hope they throw the book at him, and I genuinely hope he can never access any WWE event for the rest of his life. And good on Dash Wilder also. I have no problem with what he did whatsoever, but that guy certainly deserves every bad thing that comes towards him. And I think pretty much 99.9% of wrestling fans, because that's not what he is, he's not a fan, are obviously agreeing, have the same opinion that I do. So shocking occurrence, and hope that he deserves everything that he gets coming out of it. So the WrestleMania 35 event happened last night, and I'm going to try and run fairly quickly through the results. Really decent show. Wasn't one of the best shows. I'm going to have to go and watch it again. It was a very long show. I think the pre-show started off with 10, 11 PM here in the UK, and it certainly didn't end till well after 5 AM. So a very long show with 16 matches in total, and I will give the timings for these matches. This is all according to Wikipedia, these timings. I didn't see all of the pre-show. Didn't catch it all. I came in third. I watched from the third match onwards, so I don't know how the first two were. But again, it's something I'm going to go back on and watch in the next few days. The first pre-show match was Tony Nese defeating Buddy Murphy to win the Cruiserweight Championship in a match that lasted 10 minutes 40. Again, don't know about that one, so I'll have to go back, watch it. Did see a couple of clips. That springboard moonsault, he did look quite decent. So certainly well done to Tony Nese for basically having a WrestleMania moment, which is a lot of people surprisingly got last night. Carmella won the Women's Battle Royal by last time eliminating Sarah Logan. Carmella seems to be kind of missing direction a little bit. She's teamed with R-Truth and they did a dance break later on. Okay then, but I don't know. Carmella's, it's like a lot of people, they need to decide what they're doing with her one way or another. Where I did come in, Hawkins and Zack Ryder defeating the Revival, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson to win the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships. That match lasted 13 minutes 20 seconds. A decent match. Some people will say, well, because of what happened at Hall of Fame, was Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson booked to lose because of that? No. This was obviously planned well before the Hall of Fame incident, which Dash Wilder did nothing wrong in my opinion. Like I said, I think this was well booked. Great to see Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder get a WrestleMania moment, really, and win the Raw Tag Team Championships. Hawkins has been at it for many years and really had hardly any degree of success in WWE, so great to see that moment. Yeah, okay, taking the titles off the Revival, I'm not a fan of that, and I would have liked to have seen them on the main show in a good tag team match, but it's the way WWE is for WrestleMania these days. Talking of which, Braun Strowman won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal by eliminating Colin Jost. I didn't like to see the two Saturday Night Live guys. Maybe it's a cultural thing because we don't get it over here, but SNL is obviously a very long running satirical sketch show, ensemble show in America. They need to decide whether Braun Strowman's being pushed for the kids or being pushed as an absolute monster, which I think he should be the latter, an absolute monster. They keep flipping him like the Big Show, and I don't like him. he needs to be pushed as an absolute monster, and go back to the kind of the roots of the Braun Strowman characters being the monster, and really the kind of loner, the I don't know what to tell, the kind of just a kind of animalistic monster kind of guy. Anyway, I think that's what they need to do with Braun Strowman. In the first match of WrestleMania proper, Seth Rollins defeated Brock Lesnar, who was accompanied by Paul Heyman, for the WWE Universal Championship. But I know you can probably hear beeping at but keep going. 2 minutes 30 was the official time for this match, according to Wikipedia. There was several minutes, obviously, of Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins brawling outside the ring. Before this, 3 curb stomps. I could see that the title was going to be taken off Brock Lesnar. Seth Rollins is like a Triple H guy, which comes into WrestleMania last night. I thought a lot of what happened, so you can't really. Seth Rollins is a big star, and I think the champion needs to be there more than Brock Lesnar has been. There's also all sorts of considerations about whether Lesnar's going into UFC, etc. In a match that lasted 16 minutes and 20 seconds, AJ Styles defeated Randy Orton. This was an okay match. I'm not a fan of Randy Orton. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion thought of by some, but not really a Randy Orton fan. Never really have been at all, to be honest. They did obviously book this and trying to build this up as a indie guy from the bingo halls that AJ Styles is, to be facing a WWE guy, and I kind of balked at that, because AJ Styles is not just fought in the bingo halls and community centres and armories as they have in America, and then suddenly stepping into the big time of WWE. He worked with Impact Wrestling, New Japan, Ring of Honor, major companies facing major names, won major championships, so it's kind of a bit stupid WWE based, typical WWE storytelling in the match. It was an okay match. Again, I'm not a fan of Randy Orton, so it didn't really hugely appeal to me, but glad that AJ Styles won rather than Randy Orton getting another victory again, just because he's a Triple H guy. More of the same, though, was in the next match. 10 minutes 10 seconds this one. Again, according to Wikipedia, Usos, Jimmy and Jay defeated Aleister Black and Ricochet, Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, who were accompanied by Lana, which was great to see when Lana came up those steps and accompanied Rusev onto the ramp. That I thought, don't say she's not there. Oh yeah, there she is. That was good to see. I wanted to see Lana accompany Rusev. And also, of course, the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus. I thought this could have been a great opportunity to crown Aleister Black and Ricochet as a new team in WWE, as a new good tag team, a new prominent tag team. I was really hoping, it was great to see the 630 that Ricochet hit. He had a couple of big moves, and that had also again another WrestleMania moment. More of the same with the Usos. Whenever they get near the titles, they win it or they retain it on a big show. So I'm kind of over that myself. Again, I'm not a fan of the Usos either. There's a lot of guys that I'm not really a fan of that was at WrestleMania. So there's more of the same, unfortunately, with the Usos. A lot of titles changing hands, obviously, last night, but more of the same, unfortunately. I would have loved to have seen Ricochet and Aleister Black win those titles. Shane McMahon defeated The Miz in a match that lasted 15 minutes and 30 seconds. Falls count anywhere. Again, Shane, I'm one unpopular opinions this video. I'm not a fan really of Shane. He takes ridiculous risks. That fall or that suplex off the scaffolding was just a wince moment. Shane McMahon, every year there's a high risk moment that I think is kind of getting a bit dangerous. Luckily it didn't go wrong, and obviously they did land on a kind of a planted, padded stage area. Luckily I don't think any of them were hurt. I haven't seen anything today that they were serious hurt. Thankfully Shane took the victory because he landed on the Miz the way that suplex is, obviously. So that was just an amazing moment to see. I would have liked to have seen George Mizanin, I think his name was. I would love to have seen him take down Shane in an amateur kind of double leg takedown kind of way, when Shane moved his hands, when George had his fists up and Shane moved the fist to the proper position of a fighting stance. I would love to have seen George go after Shane. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Shane just knocked him out. That would have been a fun moment for to see the Miz's dad, kind of shoot on. Even if it was just a few seconds before Shane knocked him back, would have been great to see. And the mics did pick up the Miz and him having a conversation, say, "You okay?" "Yes," and then go get him, and that kind of ruined the moment slightly for me. Immediately afterwards, that you can hear the Miz. Maybe it's just me listening to it on my headphones. Maybe you can't hear some of that stuff if you don't listen to headphones. But if you do watch it on headphones, watch it with headphones on, you can hear some of that stuff more than just watching it through speakers on the TV. So that kind of brought me out of the moment a little bit. But it was a decent thing for what it was. Anyway, the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce defeating the Boss and Hug Connection, whose inflatable tube guys didn't really turn up. Bayley and Sasha Banks, Nia Jax and Tamina, Beth Phoenix and Natalya in that fatal 4-way tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. It was a decent match. Actually, there's not really a huge lot I can say. I would have loved to have seen the splashes actually being performed by Nia Jax and Tamina. Perhaps Nia Jax might have actually hurt somebody if she had been able to do the Superfly splash. But that would have been a great WrestleMania moment. It really would have. Such great imagery for those to be hitting the stereo splashes. I would love to have seen that. You could tell how much it really genuinely meant to Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, the Iconics, when they won the titles at the end of the match, 10 minutes 45 seconds apparently. You could see how much immediately it means to them. They've been a real comedy act since they started really on the main roster. I think they need to have a little bit more edge and a little bit more seriousness to them. Now they are tag team champions. Their skills are not exactly where I would like to see them at. So I would like to see them. Hopefully that will just come with experience, and hopefully they will really work with somebody now to really refine their skills. They are a little bit hit and miss, literally in their matches, unfortunately. But again, I'm not holding it against anybody who had a moment last night or WrestleMania. Great to see them. Genuinely, as soon as they hit the pinfall, they got the pinfall. You could tell how immediately, how much it meant to them. So that was great to see that those titles. Although some people may not think much of them, because they are pretty new, those tag titles. You could tell it genuinely meant a lot to Billie Kay and Peyton Royce to capture those titles, and we'll see where they go from here. Kofi Kingston, talking about moments that meant a lot. With Big E and Xavier Woods, his New Day colleagues, defeated Daniel Bryan, who was accompanied by Rowan, for the WWE Championship in a match that lasted, again, according to Wikipedia, 23 minutes and 45 seconds. I thought that Daniel Bryan carried him through a lot of this match. I really did. I think Daniel Bryan has a better skill. I think he's better at putting these matches together. I think that Daniel Bryan certainly kind of guided this match along, and I think he kept the match going, and I think Daniel Bryan was really the workhorse in this match. I'm not saying that Kofi Kingston laid back and just did, you want me kick? Okay, here's a kick, and you want punch? Here's a punch. Kofi did obviously contribute to this match, but just the way I was watching it, I thought Daniel Bryan was kind of guiding it and kept it going. Maybe Kofi's contributions before the match, we'll do this and we'll do that. Maybe he contributed a lot more, and also his athleticism was quite spectacular, but I did feel Daniel Bryan carried this match more than possibly some people realised. Great to see Kofi Kingston having his moment in winning the WWE Championship. I genuinely wasn't sure that WWE would pull the trigger, as they say, on this at WrestleMania. A lot of people speculating maybe he just loses at WrestleMania and perhaps pick up the victory at something like Backlash. But to see them pull the trigger, to see them give Kofi Kingston the WWE Championship was a tremendous moment. And that moment where Xavier Woods moved Daniel Bryan's championship out of the way and paused, and you could tell genuine emotion there when he uncovered the WWE Championship belt. Genuine, true emotion there. Really happy for his friend there. So great moment for Kofi Kingston to win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Very, very few people do that. So for Kofi to have that moment after, what is it, 10, 12 year career in WWE, just absolutely fantastic. Happy for him, genuinely. I would like to see New Day split up. I think they've overdone the run. I've thought that last year or so now that New Day needs to split up. I think he needs to have that, and I think they are probably going to run this New Day stuff for his title reign, which is slightly unfortunate. I would like to see him kind of separate himself and become a more serious character, more darker character, and that's not a comment on his ethnicity, because having an African American WWE champion is just a spectacular thing to have. I'm pretty much, not physically, literally, but I'm pretty much colourblind when it comes to wrestlers. I don't, to be honest, care what race, colour, creed, etc. there are, because I've seen guys, like I've said before, from Mexico, from UK, Europe, from Japan. You know, I've followed wrestling from around the world all my life, so I genuinely don't care. But having African American and all the stuff that's been going on and the history of the United States, and to have an African American champion in WWE, it's fantastic. And it doesn't hopefully really come into it. Hopefully Kofi can work and it doesn't become a thing. Although if WWE wants to push it in their community programs, maybe yeah. But great to see Kofi having this win. But I would like to see him separate himself and maybe dismembered it. Kind of not go away from the New Day anyway. Break up the New Day and go off on his own. I think whether he'll be able to carry the ball now that he's got it, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. We'll see what he does over the next few weeks and see where WWE goes with him. Samoa Joe defeated Rey Mysterio in a very quick match. It was about 61 seconds to retain the United States Championship. I don't think this was a short match because of Rey's injury. I think this one of the matches scheduled to always be a very short match. Some of the matches, because like I said, it was such a long event, a few of the matches I knew going into this were going to be very, very short matches, so this was one of them. So Mojo, great to see him have a WrestleMania moment. There was rumours and speculation that they may have Dominic, Rey's son, involved in this. I know he's just turned 22, I think, according to Rey's Twitter. I don't know how far he is in his career, how skilled he is. I'm going to have to go and do a search online, see whether I can see any of his matches or anything about him, and see whether I can gauge where he is. But it was a decent match. Great to see Samoa Joe have a WrestleMania moment. Sad to see Rey not win the United States Championship, match a title that he chased for in WCW didn't get, and obviously in WWE since it transferred over there. But it was a very quick match. Hopefully they will do something, continuing to do something with Samoa Joe. Also, another match I knew was going to go the way it did. Drew McIntyre was defeated by Roman Reigns. That match also lasted about 10 minutes, 10 seconds. I knew this was going to go the way it was. I knew that Drew was going to do the honours, as they say, to Roman Reigns. I was hoping that Drew would win and maybe challenge Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Whether we'll see Reigns versus Rollins coming this summer, I'm not sure. We might very well see that. But I was hoping Drew would get the victory, but Roman Reigns coming back, suddenly actually popular for the first time in his career, and coming back from leukemia, the battles he's had, and it was obvious he was going to take the victory, unfortunately, in this one. Triple H defeated Batista in what seems to be Batista's final match. He's supposedly retired from sports entertainment. 24 minutes 45 seconds. Not a lot to say about this one. It was what it was. The no holds barred stipulation was obviously due to these guys being older and they're kind of limited what they can do in the ring nowadays. Batista didn't look the greatest. He's getting older now. I think he was 50. I think he's 50 years old, according to Wikipedia now, and he only started about 10, 15 years ago or so in wrestling, something like that, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Quite certainly an older star than most. Did trip over, obviously, going into the ring, which actually, if you look back on it, he was actually laughing. He couldn't help himself, kind of smiling, laughing, chuckling a little bit after it happened. You watch him. Again, Triple H picking up the victory. I'm kind of getting sick of this Triple H annual match against his old friends. I mean, who else can he face now next year's WrestleMania? I don't know. But I think that's the spot of WrestleMania. There's a few bits of WrestleMania that to be honest, I don't like. I think that can be dropped. I mean, Triple H doesn't need to have a match every year. Yeah, he's a big star. Yeah, he's running the company, but there's no need to have him on every single WrestleMania. There's no Undertaker this year, and so I think you could have a Mania without a Triple H match. To be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of this one. Triple H, big star, done so much stuff, and the future of the company is in his hands. But to be honest, this wasn't one that really interested me. Speaking of interest, very quickly, John Cena did perform the FU or the AA to Elias in a segment. Good to see him bring back the Doctor of Thugonomics. It was a bit of a throwback. Some of the younger fans didn't get it. Some people have not been a fan for more than say maybe 3 or 4 years. Didn't probably quite understand what was going on, and that this was seen as kind of old gimmick character kind of thing. But it was a good throwback rather than coming out with the usual John Cena thing. But it's still the typical John Cena stands over the younger talent, which again is a part of WrestleMania I don't like, when these guys come back and pretty much rule over the young talent that are going to be carrying the company over the next few years. I don't like it. Yeah, it was good to see John Cena in a different kind of guise, but other than that, the usual. I think perhaps maybe I don't again Elias just I don't get you don't seem to be to see much of what Elias can do other than the musical parts. He doesn't seem to have really an act beyond that part, which will probably harm him in the future, I think. Also disappointing, Baron Corbin defeating Kurt Angle. I thought that was going to be the way it goes. That match was 6 minutes and 5 seconds or so. I knew Kurt Angle would probably do the honours on the way out. It's what a veteran normally does. Wasn't too happy with it. It was a bit of a bluff match, to be honest, really. And Baron Corbin being Angle's opponent, yeah, they tried to keep building up Baron Corbin and just as a JBL. JBL at that point there was so many commentators, it was ridiculous at parts when they kept introducing guest commentator for this match, guest commentator for that match. JBL said, this Baron Corbin, he's going to be a champion, he's got everything, all the credentials to be a champion, or whatever line that you use to try and build up Baron Corbin, but and it's sad to see Kurt Angle retire after 20 years. Had the opportunity to see him live a couple of times in TNA in Glasgow and also ICW in Glasgow. So it was great to the opportunity to see him live personally. So happy retirement to Kurt. Finn Balor defeated Bobby Lashley for the Intercontinental Championship. Great to see the Demon being used at WrestleMania. There's not really again, I'm not a Bobby Lashley fan. I've never been a fan of his skills at all. I've never really thought he was a decent performer, really. I think he's a missed opportunity. He could have been like Kofi Kingston. I was talking about the African American champion. There's never been one to really seriously carry the ball for the company, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson really counts because he is half African American, but he's half Samoan, and he really embraces that Samoan side and that, and even the Samoan chief. So I think Bobby Lashley is not the guy, really the guy, and Finn Balor taking in the Continental Championship was a bit of a let's reward the fans kind of thing. Great to see the Demon being used, like I said. We'd like to see a bit more of it. I don't know. I watch every bit of Raw the last few weeks, so I don't think they really built up well for Finn Balor. That's what they should have really done. Really build Finn Balor up to the point where he has to bring in the Demon. I don't think they really did that. Not against a guy like Bobby Lashley. Anyway, Finn Balor, new Intercontinental Champion. The main event, the WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown Women's Championships were on the line as Becky Lynch defeated Ronda Rousey, who was the Raw Champion, and Charlotte Flair, who was the SmackDown Champion. A couple of nice touches to this included Charlotte arriving by helicopter. That was quite good. You know, to have her land outside. I'm not entirely sure. I think that was possibly pre-taped. At one of the points that she flies over the stadium, it looked like there was no crowd there. It looked certainly the upper tier that I could see, it looked like there was no crowd. It was obviously cleverly edited. It was probably most likely for safety reasons in case something happened. Especially recently, there's been quite a few helicopter incidents over the last few years. It probably was pre-taped and edited to make it look like she was doing it on the night. I'm not entirely sure whether it was. I don't think it was live completely, even though they had the live on the thing. But I think that was from WrestleMania more than that. But anyway, it was a good, decent match. The match lasted 21 minutes and 30 seconds, which I thought was great. That it didn't actually wasn't a 5-minute afterthought to Finn Balor and Bobby Lashley or whatever match they were going to put on as the last male matches. You know, it wasn't an afterthought. That's what I feared. That yeah, it's going to be a main event, but yeah, it's still going to be 5-10 minutes with entrances. It wasn't. It was a 21-minute match, which was quite good. I think Becky Lynch and Charlotte both carried the match at different times. Ronda did what she did, and you know, I'm not going to go into it in depth, but I thought it was quite a decent match. They had typical multi-person spots for the match, double arm bars, interrupting pinning combinations. The end of that, a lot of people are talking about. This is a really long video anyway. A lot of people are talking about the end, whether that was a botch by Ronda Rousey. Should have had both shoulders down, or shouldn't she? I see that one of two ways. Now, either number one, that was a botch, and yes, she should have had both shoulders down, but the referee's decision is final, and Becky was awarded both championships, which I'm extremely happy for her to have. She's fully deserving of that. And second of all, even though Ronda, I believe, may be leaving WWE, or may have left WWE now, I've not watched her YouTube channel video about what she said she wants to do, and we'll see, as the next couple of weeks unfold, whether Ronda's there or not, or whether we get any kind of statement of she's left WWE now, she's left the company after that loss. Even if she's left, they can still use that as a kind of out, because of Charlotte. Even if I don't know what they're doing with the divisions, I don't know whether they're amalgamating them and whether we'll see a new championship belt of one. Whether we'll have just all females on one brand, or whether Becky will defend both titles on both shows. We don't know. I don't know what. I'm not sure what they're going to do so far. But I think that those shoulders not being down, even if Ronda's gone away, Charlotte can use that as she didn't win. She didn't pin Ronda. That match result was unfair. Charlotte Flair's got, or Asuka or somebody. Somebody's got that motivational, that kind of reasoning for challenging Becky and saying you're not the true champion because Ronda's shoulders weren't down. So there's a way to do it. Anyway, so it was a good WrestleMania. I enjoyed what I saw of it, which thought most of it. Apart from those first two matches, it was good. Wasn't one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, but I think WrestleMania 35 did its job, and I look forward to seeing where WWE goes down these next few weeks.